10 days ago, we talked about how the CS2 market reclaimed $4.9 billion. And in those 10 days, we have completely bounced back in a very, very big way. This is very exciting to see because we are so close to new all-time highs. We can almost feel it, right? We can almost feel the market erupting. This is what our current market cap is. $5.13 billion. We are basically $3 million away from a new all-time high. That's how close we are to new all-time highs. Think about how crazy that is. And this is exactly why when we have a market reaction the way that we did from the trade revert update, we utilize that time properly. We utilize that time to accumulate and average into some strong positions because, again, these dips do not last forever, especially when it comes to cases. Now, before I continue on, I just want to quickly say a quick thank you to everyone because we just surpassed 500 subscribers, which is crazy to think about. We are getting so close now to the 1,000 subscriber mark. And if you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on to never miss a future update because I'm going to be continuously uploading more and more videos around CS2. I might be doing unboxing videos at some point in time and even case battles with some friends. So if you guys do want to see that, definitely hit that like button and comment down below if you want to see that. But let's dive on back into the video. I just wanted to quickly say thank you to everyone. But just looking at the market right now, this is where our current price action is. Again, 5.13 billion. This is our all-time high back here. And from the bottom, this was July 22nd. So from July 22nd to now, August 31st, the market has almost completely recovered. In the last 7 days, we're up 3.73%. 30 days, 7.41%. In the last 90 days, we're now up 6.96%. I know it's not much, but we're just hovering around new all-time highs. And once we break that new all-time high, I do think that the market's going to surge even higher. Looking at the market today, this is where we see some of these things trading. I mean, in the last 7 days, some of these things are up significantly in value. Just going off of some of like the highest climbing things. I mean, some of these are fully manipulated. Sure, you could argue that. But if we're just scrolling down the list here, there's definitely a lot of things that are simply just not manipulated and that are just jumping in value. You know, stickers, there'll always be, some sort of there's always going to be some sort of manipulation in that market. But looking at some of these things, we could see the volume surging. We could see, the buying pressure also surging as well. One thing that I was looking at were P250 skins because, I do use the P250 quite a bit. I was noticing that the See Ya Later was rising drastically. Certain things like the Minware one, right? The Minware one was just going insane. This could definitely be, people buying up some of the supply to possibly do some, it could just be investing, right? They could be collecting more and more of the supply. But I was more so looking at like the StatTrack Factory News and how these were surging. And just in terms of like the last 52-week high, we're still down in a big way. But in the last 30 days, off of the lows, we're up 27%. This is why we need to focus on some of these skins because some of these skins, they could start to have that violent recovery with the market. And now we're starting to see that. A lot of these things, though, most of the growth I would say in this market has definitely been from some cases too. In the last 7 days, a lot of these cases are up like 8%. One case that I know that I was watching was like the snake bite case. That's up about 3.57% in the last 7 days. Last 30 days, 11.54%. We start to invest in the cases around the July lows. And if we're thinking about that, we could technically go back 30 days and just kind of see where some of these cases are in the last 30 days. Some of them are still losing value, like the Revolution cases, Recoil cases. Most of these are active drops. Even the Dreams and Nightmare case is down 5.52% in the last 30 days. So, some of these are still good buy opportunities. But, some cases like the Fauchen case, up 17, almost 18%. The Operation Vanguard, which I said is kind of a slept on case. It's overlooked in a big way. That's up 6.11% in the last 24 hours, up almost 14% in the last 30 days. Love to see that. The Chroma also up big in the last 30 days. But yeah, just across the board, some very good moves. Now, you might be asking, well, is this late, right? Like, is this a bad time to, invest into the CS2 market? I don't think so, right? When we think about the CS2 market, it's been climbing over the last year in a big way. I mean, think about where we were at in the beginning of the year. This is the new year. We were trading at about $3.7 billion. Now, this kind of goes hand in hand with traditional markets too. So if you're not following like stocks or anything around stocks and how stocks move, I know that it's hard to compare the two because we're talking about a completely different market versus the CS2 market, which is a very small niche market that doesn't have a ton of liquidity tied to it. But when we think about the traditional market and everything waking up around the traditional market, and we see liquidity improving in the global market, that also leads back to the CS2 market seeing a lot more demand and a lot more buying pressure. So it makes sense to see, the market going crazy like it has over the last year. But just looking at this 3.7 billion compared to our 5.133 billion that we recently hit, the market has been on fire over the last year. But I bring this up simply to show you guys, like, if we're thinking about it being a bad time to invest or, it's too late to invest, it's never too late to invest when we're looking at time in this market. When you're trying to time the market for a solid buy and, you want to get in to like say for so if you want to buy a case on Monday and sell on Friday, I don't think that is going to work out as well. But just buying and holding, I really see a lot of this market just rising in value, especially those higher tier skins that a lot of people love to collect. Those will always go up in value, in my opinion. And the biggest thing that you need to worry about is, will CS die at some point? I don't believe so, especially considering the fact that I think that Valve is going to continue to update and improve the game in a big way. So, that's definitely something to look forward to at some point, and just kind of seeing how the market reacts to that as well, because I do see that happening over the coming years. I don't think that we have to wait as long as we did with CSGO to CS2, but we'll see what happens. But looking at some of the things in the market, the buzzkill, right? We were looking at the buzzkill. I mean, this thing has gone crazy. If you guys remember watching my video recently, I made an M4A4 video talking about just skins to invest into within the M4A4 market. The buzzkill was one of them. And let's just put it this way. I made that video, I want to say maybe back in the end of July, maybe the beginning of August. Guys, just taking a quick look at this, the price increase, and I'll just go off of the lows back here. I won't even go off of the all-time lows down here. Just going off of some of these lows, the value of the buzzkill at our current level on buff, this is going off of buff 163, 122% up in value. The wick here was 142%. That's crazy. Also, the Man of War. Now, I didn't make a video on this, but I'm just going to show you guys for reference how crazy the market has been over just the last couple of days and over the last month. Going off the beginning of the month, this is up 164% at the current level. At the high, almost 200%. Aquamarine Revenge. Again, this is an AK skin that if we look at it, it's making a new all-time high yet again. But this thing has barely jumped. This is what I mean, right? Like, if we're looking at some of these skins, sure, this is going crazy. Sure, it's going back here to like May 2023 prices. Sure, the price is increasing, but some of these skins, if we look at it and compare it to skins like the Man of War, I mean, guys, this thing has completely blown its 2023 prices out of the water. This is a skin that I also see this happening to. I see this thing rising to 400 plus at some point in time. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, watch how crazy this market gets over the coming months. It's going to erupt even higher. But also looking at cases, the snakebite case, for an example, has been rising, right? But we're still trading in a very boring, sideways sort of trend. We're not going up like crazy. So what I'm looking at here is, when are we going to break out of this trend where we're just kind of going sideways and we're just chopping? Well, that could also happen once we break new all-time highs and we start to see a lot more, focus on the CS2 market. I think that some of these cases are also going to rise just simply from supply and demand metrics, but the snakebite case is definitely one to watch for. I see this becoming a very big case at some point in time, but just going off of all of these cases, even the glove case is kind of boring right now in price action, which is telling us that, yeah, sure, there's a lot of things tied to the CS2 market that are going crazy, supporting this move back to new all-time highs, but there's also a lot of opportunities out there still, which is why I keep saying, are we late? No, we're not late right now. We still have some great opportunities out there shining for us. So definitely focus on that. But again, prepare for new all-time highs, because we are so close now. We are less than $4 million away from a new all-time high for the CS2 market. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications on to never miss a future update. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.